Alright guys, welcome once again to Non-Comic Lineup, where I basically take a comic book team and put non-comic book characters on this lineup, so ranging from movies, video games, cartoons, anime, all that good shit. And yeah, so this time around I decided to do one that, one of my favorite DC teams of all time, the Secret Six. I am going to do a Sinister Six later on down the road. I just want to find the right team members, you know what I mean? So, for the Secret Six, now, I'm following in true of what the Secret Six were in Gail Simone's run. A group of misfits, and were not really liked by everyone else, and they all had their own private agendas, but they were forced to join together and become like a makeshift family. So I'm kind of going with that idea of these D-list villains who can't really seem to do anything by themselves, and trust me, there is a truckload of villains I could use for this team, but I really thought about it and really wanted to give some uniqueness to this group, especially, you can probably figure out by the end of this video who I chose to be the leader before the end of the video. But anyway, let's get started with our first two members, Jesse and James from Pokemon. Obviously, Team Rocket blasting off the speed of light, and they'll surrender now before the fight. Yeah, Jesse and James would, when I started making this this Secret Six team, I literally said I gotta have Jesse and James on this team, because they would be on this team. They would be on a team like this, a group of people who can't seem to do anything right by themselves, and now they have to work on their, now they have to work in a team of other villains who kind of fall in that same boat. I think they would, join up, because they do have some skill as thieves, but they have their own ego that gets in their way. Plus, they have the use of their Pokemon to help them. Now you're probably wondering, why isn't Meowth on this team? Because I'm pretty sure Meowth would be smart enough to realize, wow, this is a terrible idea. When you guys come to your senses, I'll be waiting out back. Bye. No, Meowth wouldn't have no part of this, while Jesse and James think, a proper supervillain team? Yay! And then they'd realize, oh god, we made a horrible mistake. We've made a horrible, horrible mistake. So Jesse and James, they would bring what skills they have of having some technology on them. They also are semi-skilled thieves. They don't seem to think anything out. And as always, of course, they'll be blasting off again before the end of this team. Next up is Megavolt. Now, Megavolt, you're probably wondering, well, Megavolt's a little more competent, and yeah, I mean, he's fought Darkwing Duck, and he's been part of the Fearsome Five. Let's face it, Megavolt is just totally out of his batshit mind, and he has been known to be a liable threat on his own, but most of the time he needs other villains around him to help. He does have some he does have a technological background, and I could see him as kind of like the tech guy of this group, kind of. But really, Megavolt is completely out of his mind. I mean, some of his first few skirmishes were to save St. Canard's light bulbs. Yeah. So our leader would look at this guy and see all the power. Now, don't get me wrong, Megavolt is kind of a powerhouse. He is obviously like Electro, and he's beaten Darkwing a few times on his own, so he would be probably one of the more competent villains, but I think he would like the idea of joining a supervillain team outside of the Fearsome Five, because Negaduck is a total asshole. So I think he would be like, well, I'm gonna show Negaduck that I can be a good supervillain without the Fearsome Five. I'm gonna go join this Secret Six team. His line of thinking would literally be, because 6 is greater than 5. That would literally his line of logic of joining this team. So Megavolt would definitely be on this lineup, no doubt about it. So next up on the team is Octane from Transformers. Yes, Octane was kind of like the sadder version of Starscream, if there is such a thing. Octane was also he was a triple changer. He could transform into a carrier as well as a, gas tanker. So, I think Octane would be the muscle of the team. He's obviously a giant fucking robot, so of course he would be, the big muscle of this team. However, the guy's a bigger coward than Starscream. I mean, seriously, when a fight breaks out, Octane's usually the first to leave. So I think the leader of this team would be like, ooh, a giant robot. The people with giant robots win. And then when Octane runs away or tries to usurp control from the team's leader, I think it would be a big mistake, and that would be another thing that would kind of make this team kind of self explode. It would just make it self implode in of itself. Of Octane wanting to be the leader of the Secret Six rather than some little green maniac leading this team. So again, Octane would be kind of like the muscle if he isn't running away or trying to take over the Secret Six team as it is. Next up, we have Zever, aka Fishface. Now, Fishface would obviously be one of the more competent members of this team. He would be the one who would be doing infiltration as well as spying, and probably taking out taking out several people. And again, he'd be doing his job perfectly. Everyone else would just be totally screwing it up. And I think the reason why Fishface would join such a team is that, he's been kind of soloing a lot lately, and, he hasn't really gotten a lot to do since Bebop and Rocksteady have shown up in the Foot Clan. Then again, he hasn't been able to do anything more or less at all, because he's kind of dead right now after the black hole thing. But we're going to ignore that for a bit. But no, Zever would be the team's stealth, as well as one of the first guys who would be in combat. Like the leader of the team would be like, "You, fishmonger, seize them." Yeah, and I think Zever would also be one of the first guys to go, "Oh my God, what am I doing?" I mean, I didn't get any action when I was part of the Foot Clan when Tweedledee and Tweedledumbass rolled in, but man, the Foot Clan knew how to run a better ship than this. I'm out. No, really, I think after a few missions in this team, I think Fishface would be the first one to go, "Yeah, no, I can't do this." But during his time on the team, I could see him being just a deadly asset to this group. Because remember, he's got those robot legs. He's a great martial artist, and he knows his way around some butterfly knives. And not to mention, he's got a venomous bite to him as well. Anyway, so moving on to our leader of the team. Oh, you know who it is. Of course. Who else would it be leading a team like this? Who else would look at a group of, this kind of group after, moving past several other villains and being like, "Yes, this will be part of my supervillain team"? Who else but Zim? Come on, let's be honest here. Who else would be who else would be the one thinking, "Hey, I can make a team like this"? And also, he'd probably put out, bulletins everywhere across the world and being like, "Hey, here's I'm making a supervillain team, and we will rule the world." You know how many people would say no other than the last 4 people? The last 5 people who would just be like, "Yeah, okay, we'll join." Yeah. So Zim would be, like I said, the leader of this team. Even though he's completely egotistical, completely insane, he does have some intelligence to him, and he does have quite a lot of tech to him. So I could see that at first, I think he would, impress the villains that came to him, and I think it would be kind of beneficial at first, but of course, Zim's ego, as well as his psychosis, and his complete stupidity and ineptitude would eventually lead to the downfall of this version of the Secret Six. But it would be a hell of a team to see just completely bungle around and mess everything up. Now, not to say in the original the DC comic Secret Six is completely stupid and inept. No, they're actually a really great fighting force. But they didn't start out like that, remember? They didn't exactly start out like that. They were at each other's throats, as well as they were kind of like, well, no one really cares about us because no one really remembers us. I mean, who do we got? Everyone remembers Bane for that one thing. I'm Deadshot. Yeah. Anyway. But yeah, I decided I'm going to have a little fun with this version of the Secret Six. Anyway, so you guys tell me, who would be on your non-comic Secret Six lineup? Really curious to know who you guys would put on this team. And once again, hope you all enjoyed this. Again, I'm super excited to see who you guys would put on your teams, because again, yeah, there were a ton of people that could have been on this list. I mean, I was thinking of so many characters like Ludo, Jack Spicer, Fuzzy Lumpkin, the Toilinator. Yeah, there's so many guys. There could be so many incarnations of this team, so I'm really excited to see who exactly you would put on your Secret Six lineup. So once again, hope you all enjoyed this, and I will see you guys later.